Just so in the Kubernetes, we are actually having some more information that is like a Kubernetes more into fundamentals. Like pod is we have four basic are also important fundamentals in Kubernetes. Okay, they are they are actually like a pod and also replica sets and deployment and also service. So this pod is a single instance of application. A pod is a smallest object that you can create in Kubernetes. What this pod will do, it will have the applications inside it. Okay, so the pod is just an instance of your application, or so where your application is actually residing. Okay, so the most important thing is like creating the of the pod. Okay, and also we have the other topic that is like replica set. Replica set will maintain a stable set of replicas of pod. So suppose you have a pod where your application is running. Okay, so all of a sudden your application need a backup. In those cases you can go for the replica set. Means your application can create a three more duplicates, where if the main application is done is lost, then the sub applications or the child applications will come into the picture. By that, what will happen, you no need to so there won't be any downtime for your application. Okay, that is the advantage of the replica set. Replica set will always backs up the pod which is running, so you can have one or two replica sets with you also. Okay, replica set will maintain a stable set of replica pods which are running at any given time. In short, if it is like used to guarantee the availability of the specified number of identical parts, so it will guarantee the availability of the specified number of identical parts. So it's suppose if you have one part, and if you want to create like two or three replicas of it, you can able to create it. Okay, and the very next one is like deployment. A deployment runs like a deployment is a process which will run the multiple replica sets of your application, and what it will do is it will automatically replace if any instance has failed. For example, you are having some three replicas of your application. All of a sudden, one replica set is failed, means due to some uh, error or some infrastructure problem. In those cases, this deployment, what it will do, it will go and create a one more application for you. And we have like a rollback, and also we have like rollback and also rollout processes for the application. What is meant by this rollout and rollback process is, suppose if you have done some changes in the application, and and also the current build of the application is failing. In those cases, you can roll back your application to the previous version. That can be happen via deployment process. If you want to say, if the in other case, one more case is, if your all application is done and also it is working properly, then you are rolling out for the development or test or other environments can be happen with the development. Developments are actually well suited for the stateless applications. Means uh, suppose if it is standalone application, for those standalone applications, deployments are very well suited. Okay, and also other one is like service. Service is an abstraction. Abstraction means it is just an it will just take the data from the pod or the information from the pod, which will provide a stable IP address, and also where your application is running. All these are will be provided by a service. There is So service is just like an a path which will tell like to connect to your application. Suppose you are running some your API service, or so if you are running something from the browser, so that is just like a service. But what is there in the backend is some application. Okay, so this service is just an abstraction. It is just an clone of your pod, which is like having its own IP address. Through the IP address, we can able to track it actually. Okay, we can able to load that particular application. Okay, so this service, it will sit in front of pod and acts as a load balancer. Sometimes so there will be uneven way of the load will be coming for the applications. So in those applications, this service will act as an load balancing, where it will parallelly load the data for the storages. Okay, this is the case. So these were
Okay, sir.
the main important things actually. Okay,
Mm.
so next one, you can write down if you want. You can take your notes and write down
Past.
also. Okay. So next one is like in Kubernetes, we have the way of creating this flow, pod, replica set, and the deployment, and also service. We have a flow. We have the flow like first we have to create a pod and replica set and deployment. Then we have to give a service. Then your the Kubernetes cluster, whatever you have created, that will be ready for you. And also the other one is we can able to do via the declarative method. Through the declarative method also you can able to do pod, replica set, deployment, and also service. This is the general flow of how you are creating your Kubernetes cluster, and also pod in it, and replica set in it also. Okay. It is just there are two approaches. One is like through the command line, or also you can able to do with the YAML file. Through the YAML file also, it will we can able to create. So next is like with Kubernetes, our core goal will be to deploy our application. With the Kubernetes, our main goal is like to deploy our application in the form of containers on the worker nodes. So when you are having some child images in those, we can able to deploy our application. Suppose you have created, somebody has created an application in .NET, so that application we can able to deploy them on the worker nodes in the Kubernetes cluster. So in there you will have this pod. I told you, no, the where in the pod the application will be running. So this pod actually this N is nothing but some ngInx container. So here that can be like Java, Java. We need again Java's build, or actually .NET build, or whatever it is. Okay, so this container is encapsulated in Kubernetes object named pod. Okay. So, and also a pod is a single instance of application, and pod is the smallest object that we can create in the Kubernetes. This point also Visa. So next pods will have in general, the pod will have the application. Suppose somebody gave you some Java build. So what you want to do? You want to associate that build with the pod. Okay, with the pod, this pod where you want to create, you want to create in the Kubernetes. Okay, to scale up, we can create the new pod, and also to scale down, we can create the pod. Suppose if you are having some one application, and that the data load is more, okay, or your application is like hanging. In those cases, you can go for you can go and add one more pod for for your application. Or if you are having some four parts, and you don't want to create all those, use the unused space, we can reduce the parts also. That kind of option is also available for us. So very next one is like we cannot have multiple containers of same kind. For example, same kind. For example, suppose I have some Java kind thing. So I should not have the same application on the single pod. That is in one of the uh, restriction we are having. Okay.
Yes, sir.
And also two Nginx containers in single pod serving same purpose is not recommended. For example, you are actually having two I mean containers which are which are having like which are running with the single pod which are running with the single pod is also not recommended in the Kubernetes. So then how can we do the multiple parts at a time? How can we handle the multiple parts at a time? We can have multiple containers in a single part, provided they are not for same kind. So we can have multiple containers, okay, but they should not be of the same kind. While I am writing this or showing you the meta or YAML file, you will understand what is meant by this type. Okay, so and also helper containers, they are like the sideways. There are some other containers which can help the application that are like that is like pull the data pullers, data pushes and proxies, which are like side containers. So which will be helping always your main container. So which will pull the data by main container and also push the data. From the main container, and also writes the static logic to HTML using helper container and reads the main content data. So these are the different things we can do with the helper container, but they are just a theory only. We can so we can able to write the static data in HTML files using helper container and also reads using main container. So the main container only your application will be running. No? And also the communication between the containers is like the two containers can easily communicate with each other by since they are in the same network space, they can able to communicate with each other. Even we saw the container to container communication, if you remember, we saw in the docker network. Okay, so that's how it, they will be actually communicating. So multi-container parts is of rare use. We will try focus on fundamentals. Okay. So these are the different things for today. So I will open this. See, this is the Cloud Shell terminal. So if you are seeing, so have you got this Azure terminal?
Yes, sir.
Azure terminal, do you have?
No, sir. In my laptop, I don't have, so I have to install that.
No, Azure terminal we can't install. You have to actually register. So
I
you
need
want
to
to
register for
Azure
Azure
portal.azure.com.
terminal, sir.
Azure terminal. Okay.
Okay,
So
sir.
that one. So I already have had it there. No, yes. I think yes, you have seen the channel or not? I'm not sure. So okay. See, you are seeing this is the AK service creation I had. I was I showed I kept this here. I'm not sure whether you saw it or not. Okay, how to create a Kubernetes service on the Azure portal like kept. Okay, so like I will show you here how to create. Okay? So you can go to this and check. Okay, fine.
Yes, sir. Yes, okay.
You
I
saw
can
it.
remember.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Fine. One second. Wait.
Okay.
I think it will disconnect. Okay. We can reconnect again. Okay.
Okay, sir. Again, I need to reconnect, sir.
No, no, let it complete. No, so
Oh,
we can able to see my screen, right?
yes, sir.
Yeah. Is there 5 minutes still it is there? Okay. So just to click on the. So initially you will get like this. Now
Sir.
click on the Kubernetes service. Once you click on the Kubernetes service, what we can do, we can go for the create a once you create a Kubernetes cluster, just click on top of it. So since you will have free trial, you can go for the free trial, and it will ask you to create a actually resource group. You can create the resource group by clicking here itself. Just create, and after creation you can select it. Okay, so mine is I have already created, and also here the Kubernetes. So it is like a cluster name. For example, I am giving here some AKS demo one. So this is my cluster name, and we can put the remaining API server availability and all as it is. And next, click on the next. Next, you can go for the this one is also not necessary. You can go for the next tab, that is access tab. This is also you can leave it as for the defaults. And once you create your DNS will be created. This is like an the intervals. Okay, the DNS name will be created, and also traffic and security something related to the cloud it will show. So next, Azure policy enabled. Okay, so for almost leave as it is, unless now it will validate. Only the first place where you want to do the resource name and all. Apart of it, like it won't ask you nothing much. Okay. So now validation is passed. So your server name is in the east US. Okay. So now you can come down and create. Click on the create. So this will take some time to load actually. So this is important. They will ask you in the interviews how do you create a Kubernetes clusters. Okay. You want to remember the options? You have to tell. You are there, no? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay. So this will take some time, okay? You want to register here, portal.azure.com. This is the portal. You want to go and register yourself. So
Okay, sir.
if you are having problem, you can tell me. I will guide you how to register.
Okay, sure, sir.
You need to have a actually credit card too. So I will stop the session. So we will take the one more session. Okay. So I will stop the
Uh,
session for now. Okay. You can
okay, sir.
rejoin. Okay. Rejoin.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Okay.